In the frozen mountains of Russia, 9 experienced hikers fled their tent in terror, tearing through it from the inside. They ran barefoot into -30-degree temperatures. When rescuers found them weeks later, the scene was so disturbing that investigators couldn't explain what they saw. This is the Dyatlov Pass Incident, and to this day, nobody knows what really happened that night. January 1959, 10 students and graduates from the Ural Polytechnical Institute set out on a skiing expedition to reach Otorten Mountain in the northern Urals. They were experienced hikers, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov. This wasn't supposed to be dangerous. They'd done trips like this before, but something went terribly wrong. On January 27th, one member of the group, Yuri Yudin, turned back due to illness. He would be the only survivor. The remaining 9 continued toward the mountain. They were supposed to send a telegram when they returned on February 12th. That telegram never came. When the group didn't return, a search party was organized. On February 26th, they found the tent on the slopes of Kholat Syakh, a name that translates to Dead Mountain in the local language. What they discovered made no sense. The tent had been cut open from the inside, not opened normally, violently slashed, as if the hikers were desperate to escape something. Their belongings, their shoes, their warm clothes, all left behind. Footprints led away from the tent, showing that some were barefoot, others in only socks, in the middle of a Siberian winter. The first 2 bodies were found under a large cedar tree about a mile from the tent. They were barefoot, dressed only in their underwear. Branches on the tree were broken up to 15 feet high, as if someone had climbed it frantically, trying to see something or escape something. 3 more bodies were found between the cedar tree and the tent, including Igor Dyatlov himself. They were positioned as if they had been trying to crawl back to the camp. Medical examiners determined they died of hypothermia, but that wasn't the disturbing part. It took 2 more months to find the remaining 4 bodies. They were buried under 12 feet of snow in a ravine. And this is where the case becomes truly inexplicable. These 4 had suffered massive internal injuries. Ludmila Dubinina had major chest fractures, and her tongue, eyes, and part of her lips were missing. Alexander Zolotaryov had severe chest trauma. The medical examiner said the force required to cause these injuries was comparable to a car crash, yet there were no external wounds, no cuts, no bruises on the skin. The damage was entirely internal. But the evidence got stranger. Some of the victims' clothes showed high levels of radiation. Witnesses at the funeral said the bodies had a strange orange tan, and several members of another hiking group camped 30 miles away that same night reported seeing strange orange spheres floating in the sky toward Kholat Syakh. The Soviet investigators interviewed survivors, examined evidence, and conducted autopsies. Their official conclusion: death by unknown compelling force. That was it. No explanation, no suspect. The case was quickly closed, and the files were sent to a secret archive. For decades, the area was declared off-limits to hikers. So what happened that night? Why would experienced hikers flee into deadly cold without their shoes or proper clothing? What caused those catastrophic internal injuries? Why was there radiation on their clothes? Over the years, dozens of theories have emerged. Some say it was an avalanche, but experienced investigators found no evidence of one, and the tent was only partially collapsed, not buried. Others point to military testing. The area was relatively close to secret Soviet facilities. Could the hikers have witnessed something they shouldn't have? Could they have been exposed to weapons testing? It would explain the radiation and the government's secrecy. Some believe it was infrasound, low-frequency sound waves that can cause panic, paranoia, and physical pain. These can occur naturally in mountains under certain wind conditions. Could infrasound have driven them mad with fear? Local indigenous people spoke of something they called the wind of death, strange phenomena in that region that killed those who disrespected the mountains. 9 lights in the sky, 9 dead hikers. Coincidence? In 2019, 60 years after the incident, Russian authorities reopened the investigation. In 2020, they announced their conclusion, a rare type of avalanche called a slab avalanche. But this explanation left many questions unanswered. Why the radiation? Why the missing tongue and eyes? Why did they cut the tent from the inside instead of just opening it? The Dyatlov Pass Foundation and independent researchers continue to investigate. New theories emerge every year, but the truth remains buried in those frozen mountains. 9 young people went into the mountains with their whole lives ahead of them. Something terrified them so badly that they chose to face certain death in the freezing cold rather than stay in their tent. Was it natural phenomena? Military secrets? Something we still don't understand? The Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of the most disturbing unsolved mysteries of the 20th century, and perhaps some mysteries are meant to stay buried in the snow. What do you think happened that night? Let me know in the comments below, and if you want more shocking true crime mysteries like this, subscribe and hit that notification bell. New cases every week. Thanks for watching.